Hi, my name is Dan, and this is my channel, Engelgeist. Thank you for tuning in. This is the November 2019 predictive tarotoscope for the sign of Cancer. Those of you with a sun, moon, rising sign in Cancer, or possibly if love shows up in this reading, if your Venus is in Cancer, you may want to watch this video. If you're in love with a Cancer or care about a Cancer, you can certainly cross-watch this video too. That's totally acceptable. If you like these videos, please give my channel a subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified every time I go live or when I do another video. I have pick-a cards and live broadcasts and all sorts of stuff, so those are available to you at all times. So please subscribe if you like it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. Let's get started. I'm going to shuffle the cards, see what's going on for Cancers in the month of November 2019. I feel like the energy as I shuffle the cards is a little heavy for you guys. I didn't notice much in the shuffles for some of the previous signs, but for you guys, the energy feels a little heavy, a little bit dull in the month of November. I hate to say that, but I have a feeling, it just dawned on me because I feel like there's a lot of sort of harder lessons happening for the signs, or at least the first three signs that I've done previous to this. I felt like there's a little bit of struggle in each of my readings. Not struggle for me per se, but for each sign, which is not normally what I see in the last few months. But I think that might be because we're kicking off this Mercury retrograde on the 31st, and it runs through, I think, the majority of November. So maybe that's this sort of sluggishness that I'm feeling in the cards. I'm not exactly sure. It just feels like the heaviest with Cancer so far. You guys are a water sign and tend to be emotional. Like me, I'm a Pisces, so I understand watery emotions, but to me this feels a little bit heavy, a little bit, I don't know, not in a bad way, just like we might have to work a little harder in the month of November, or at least in the beginnings of November. Now this first card is the sort of general gist of where you're going to be at during the month of November, right? This is sort of where you're going to be centered at off and on throughout the month of November, kind of like the theme for November. Oh, interesting. This is the element of air, the crystals, which is like swords and other decks. This is the 5 of crystals, which is negativity. To me, this feels like the, from a very obvious place, this looks like negative thought. This is definitely like anger, frustration, maybe some sadness is going to be up for you guys throughout the month of November. I'm not exactly sure as to why. I can't really remember last month's Cancer forecast or tarotoscope, so I don't know what you guys maybe have gone through, but as I go forward with the cards, I'll probably know better as to why sort of this card is at work here. But to me, it feels like you guys are going to be having to really be conscious about fighting this off. Now, I don't want to say that this is sort of like where you're destined to be at. For the month of November, it feels more like the challenge, or what I'm hearing is the challenge is to not get sucked into this negative thinking, to not let the past sort of creep up and grab you and grab your attention, and that become your sole focus for the month of November. So that's what I'm hearing with this card. Now, this next card is sort of the past and what has sort of led the way for everything to be the way that it is this month in your tarotoscope. So this is the 9 of Worlds, which is harvest. Let's try to not burn my hand while doing this. Now this card is a beautiful card. This is all about sort of setting the seeds together, or planting the seeds to sort of reap the harvest later. And we are certainly in harvest season as it is now with October and November. But I feel like I get a funny feeling from this card. Like what I'm hearing right now is that it's sort of like the things that we had sown earlier in the year we were expecting to pay off by now, and they maybe haven't, be it a relationship or a job or whatever. And what I am hearing also is that it's not that you haven't you won't get the payoff. It just sort of feels like you expected it to be here by now and it hasn't shown up yet. And I think that that's triggering some of this negativity. It's like you've worked hard throughout the year. We're at November, the year's getting ready to end out. And you're sort of like, for all that hard work and in whatever realm we're talking about here, in the earning of money, or say in dealing with health issues, dealing with a significant partner or relationship, all the work that you've put in, you were expecting certain results to be done by now, and it feels like those results have yet to come in. I'm going to say that, and that's important. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Those results have yet to come in. You expected them by now, and I think that's part of the reason why this negativity card is sort of the theme, is sort of you might feel like through the month of November you're repeating the same things over and over again, trying to get the results that you've been working towards for a long time now. And something tells me, what I'm hearing is that this is coming in, it's just not right now. You just need to be patient. And quite frankly, not much comes in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. Stuff does, but it usually comes in sideways or wonky. So right now, we probably need to sit the majority of November out and just remain calm and cool. But you guys are water signs. You're sensitive beings, and you are going to be probably more sensitive to the wonkiness of the retrograde, and the expectation of all of the hard work that you've put in throughout the year is definitely sort of the foundation for why you might be feeling a little bit hurt, resentful, aggravated that it's not here yet, or it hasn't paid off as of yet, okay? But it's definitely an as of yet situation. I feel like this harvest is the foundation, meaning there will be a harvest. It just may not be when you think it is or when you expected it by, okay? The next card that goes here is the Solar Spirit card. This card tells me where your solar spirit is at, what it's working on right now. So this is beautiful. This is the Two of Wands. And to me, this Wands deals with the energy of fire, and spirit. And so I love that this position here, this card is here in this position is what I meant to say. I love that this is the Two of Wands. To me, when I look at this, I always see twos as couplings, but when I look at this being in the spirit's position, I really feel like this is your soul reaching out to you, trying to connect with you. This could be connections from the other side, past loved ones, guardian angels, spirit guides, things of that nature. But these are things that are, this is your soul sort of strengthening that connection between yourself and your spiritual self, if that makes sense. I hope that does make sense. Leave me a question in the comments if it doesn't. But this Two of Wands to me says that it's a deepening of spirit during this month. And even though we might be fighting within ourselves in our mind and looking at our long-term goals, there is a focus coming from our spirit about calming it down, bringing it inward and connecting it up to spirit and just allowing it to be as it is and not getting too caught up in the thoughts and negativity of the mind this month. Instead, reside in the beauty of the spirit and allow that to pass the time and allow that to bring about this harvest that we have kind of been waiting on, okay? The next two positions are outside influences. These cards tell me sort of what is influencing us during the month of November that we need to be made aware of. They can be both either positive or negative. They can be people, they can be events, they can be, things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us during the month of November. So, one is the Seven of Worlds, which is breakthrough. Again, this is interesting to me because it is a worlds card, and we have this foundation of the Nine of Worlds, which is working really hard leading up to this point and expecting a certain harvest and not really getting it. And I feel like this card is the Seven of Worlds, which is breakthrough, which usually means we're having some sort of breakthrough, things are coming to a head, that sort of thing. But the fieriness and the redness of this card really pulls my attention today, only because of this negativity card as being sort of the theme or where you're centered at, or the possibility of you being centered in a place of emotional thought that brings about negativity. This to me feels like if we focus too much on our material gains or losses or why they're not here yet, we might end up getting a little bit more volatile and a little bit more upset. This energy kind of wants to come through. This is sort of that anger, lashing out energy. This is outside of us now, remember. But I feel like there's opportunities where We might find ourselves in situations that piss us off or annoy us or make us want to erupt, like this volcano that I see right here, right? What it's doing is it's stripping us of our personal power, I believe, these situations. And what they're doing is that they're making it easier for us to sit in this negativity. But what we want to be doing, or what I feel like the suggestion here from Spirit is Spirit really wants us to connect through to Spirit and create this relationship, this spiritual connection that's strong and deep, because this is going to be what brings you to this harvest, not acting out in this way or giving into these situations that stimulate this kind of thinking in your space. I hope that makes sense. Again, if it does not, please let me know. Okay, so now the other influence here, and this is interesting because I said twos make me think of couplings. And I was thinking that this could have been a spiritual relationship with another individual, but I was reading it more from the spirit space because this is in the soul's position, the card of the soul. What we have here is the Lover's card. This is the other outside influence. There could be an opportunity for some love. So those of you with a Venus in Cancer, you may want to look at this and see about where your minds are at in the month of November and what you guys are doing as far as your spiritual growth. What seeds are you planting? When is the harvest coming in? If some of you have been working really hard towards a relationship, I think you might be experiencing some negativity, but we have two ways of looking at it. Are we working towards something good, or are we working towards something that's kind of setting us off and bothering us, right? I think that there's two different ways here. We can see things through this eyes of this frustration and maybe anger and this fieriness, or we can see the things through the eyes of the lovers and the power that's here. I also think that this is definitely the idea that somebody could come into the picture for you guys, for my Cancers this month. You may not necessarily see it, though, is my fear. This is what I'm hearing, because if you're too wrapped up in the negativity, or you're too wrapped up in the situations that are bugging you and bothering you, you might miss I'm not going to say you're going to miss the opportunity, but you might not necessarily see them or be able to focus on this, on the beauty of this, because you're too busy vibrating at this level of like frustration and anger. What I see here amongst all of these cards is you have this kind of back and forth, right? We have the negativity of the Five of Crystals, the mind and kind of emotional states of being leading us and guiding our attention. We have what we've done in the past where we've worked towards long-term goals, and maybe they haven't come in just yet, but they will. That's what we need to know. We have the Two of Wands, which says to me, not only do we need to deepen our connection to ourselves through Spirit and reside in that connection throughout the month of November, but we also have the opportunity to maybe find a spiritual connection with another individual, signified here in this Lover's card. But there are going to be situations throughout the month of November, because of the retrograde, that are going to maybe cause us to be annoyed, cause us to lower our vibration and focus on the negative, or what's like annoying us, pissing us off, that sort of thing. And we don't want to do that, okay? So just keep that in mind through the month of November. Now, this card always comes with a caveat. This is the final outcomes card. This card is not set in stone by any means. It is a potential card. So if it's something negative that we don't want to have happen, we can use this right now, this awareness of it, to sort of make the choices and changes now with free will, so that we can avoid this card coming to pass, right? If it is something that is beneficial, or that we do want to have happen, the great thing about it is we're naturally progressing towards this card without having to do much to change things. So your outcome for the month of November, we may want to use this as a warning, guys. Cancer, this is the Eight of Cups. Cups deals with water, and it deals with the element of emotions, which we all know that you guys have a firm grasp on. This is the stagnation card. This is about feeling stuck, about feeling maybe undervalued, about giving to situations that no longer work for us, or that are sort of, not giving back to us in the same way. To me, it really feels like this is how do I want to say this? Like, I feel like there's a fork in the road here, and we get to choose the path in the month of November. Do we want to choose that path where we go inward and seek out a relationship to ourselves, and potentially maybe find an opportunity to find love with ourselves or even another person in the month of November, looking at the long-term goals, and even though we've been working hard, giving a little bit more faith, a little bit more belief in the fact that maybe it takes just a little bit more time for some of these things to come about that we've been seeking. Instead of getting frustrated, feeling angry or explosive around situations that might still be occurring that you kind of feel like you should be on or past. If you do give in to the negativity and the thought process and you're not mindful of it, I think that you could end up feeling by the end of the month somewhat stagnant, emotionally stuck, and feeling not out of the game completely, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do see growth and flowers and some beauty and some strength in this card, but it just feels like it's so much more of an emotional roller coaster that you guys have put yourselves through that you don't necessarily need to. This Purity card, this Harvest card, and this Lovers card are really three strong, beautiful cards, and really three places that I would choose if I were a Cancer to focus on during the month of November. Instead of focusing on what's bothering me, the negativity, what situations are sort of like making me explode or get angry or resentful, and also how stuck I may feel in those situations. So that is your forecast for the month of November. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, or you can message me at my Facebook business page. I'm always available for private readings if you want further information or clarification on either this reading or just a private reading for your own situation. Remember, this is a broad spectrum reading for a lot of people that will tune in at any given time, either now or in the future. So some of this may apply to you, all of this may apply to you, even none of this may apply to you, and you may be a Cancer, right? It's up to you to make those decisions for yourself. I'm just here to sort of tell you what I hear, see, and feel. And this is what I'm looking at for the month of 2019 for Cancer. Remember though, the majority of the month, you guys, were in a retrograde, so some of this energy would make sense, just on a planetary level. All right, I look forward to seeing you guys next month. Please tune in, like on my videos, subscribe to my channel, support me on Instagram, do whatever you need to do, tell your friends about me, and thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.